Today's topic is about a trap that you are stuck in as an individual and humanity is stuck in as a collective. And that is a trap of a belief that has been planted in us for a very long time about the ability for us to live, experience, and be perfect. And the mechanisms used to implement that are shame and guilt. We have been programmed into feeling guilty and feeling ashamed for not being perfect and not doing things perfectly. And as a human, you are never going to attain that ideal. Some people may be projected as ideals, and that's not real. And what this creates for us as individuals and as a collective is that we get split within, and that split is being reflected in the world outside today. We can see the world deeply polarized, and that is a reflection of your own inner world. I call this me versus me, and we have a lot of me's fighting against a lot of other me's. And if you can start to see that within yourself, that is where change starts happening. Because one of the biggest myths around is that shame and guilt is going to create change. It's not an explicit myth, but it's a myth that we live and perpetuate all the time. We are doing this all the time in the media, in news, in even in movies and TV shows. There's so much of righteousness where one side is right and the other is wrong. And until we can come out of this guilt polarization of right and wrong and start seeing in ourselves that two rights can exist. It's not one is right and one is wrong, that there are two rights and both have their place. This can only happen from the heart because the heart can hold two truths. The mind compares, makes one better than the other, one more right, one more wrong. But the heart can have two things that are equally right. And when you come into this heart centered consciousness, when you learn to have this acceptance for multiple sides of yourself, that is when you begin to have compassion for yourself. And through this acceptance and compassion of yourself, it starts awakening for others too. But this is not, again, some morality or some righteousness that I'm preaching. This is for your own health, for your own well being, and for our collective health and well being. What we do not realize is that through shame and guilt, we keep feeding what we don't want. When you are out there criticizing the other collective for being wrong, for being this, for being that, for being cruel, for being racist, for being sexist, blah, 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 whatever labels we have left, right, all the shit that's going on in the world today. When you're doing that, what you're implying implicitly that the other person is wrong. You're canceling them without you realizing it or not. And you'll say, well, they are being bad, they are being mean, they are being cruel, they're causing pain. Why not cancel them? Why not ostracize them? Because that's what you're doing to yourself, whether you realize it or not. You have ostracized parts of yourself, and this split within you creates a war within you. And that war can be seen in the world today also when we have two sides that are so split, they are at war. You are at war with yourself. And until you realize this, you will keep being at war outside. You have to come to your own realization of what energies do you want to feed. Do you want to keep feeding hatred, shame, guilt, and war? Because guess what? Feeding it to someone else is also feeding it within you. When you're canceling someone else, you're also canceling yourself. You don't have to believe me, you have to see it in yourself. You have to realize this for yourself that you do not accept many parts of you, not just one or two. There are many parts. I've been doing this work for a decade now with over 1,000 people. And I can tell you from my personal experience and seeing so many people, we have dozens, if not hundreds and thousands of parts that we have just rejected. Small, small qualities, small, small incidents that happen in our life, we just keep diminishing ourselves and canceling ourselves. And when you are feeding shame and when you're feeding guilt instead of acceptance and compassion, look, I'm not saying let's love everyone and everything is perfect and everything is bliss. I'm just talking about acceptance and compassion so we can move forward, so we can grow as individuals and as a collective for our own health, for our own preservation, even because this is not sustainable. This is a toxic trap that keeps feeding a downward spiral. So, if you want to wake up, first come to acceptance of yourself. First, learn to see which parts of you are rejecting. Start there. First, even realize that you're rejecting so much of yourself. If you are struggling to do what you really want, and then you keep procrastinating, and then you keep wondering, why can't I do it? And then you shame yourself for procrastinating, and then you shame yourself for not living up to your potential, and you feel bad for being stuck where you are. What is happening? You're perpetuating a trap through shame and through guilt towards yourself, or maybe others are even feeding that. When you wake up from this and you realize it's okay, I accept that I'm imperfect, I accept that I have not lived up to my potential yet. Because also there is this belief ingrained that if that you should have already become perfect. What's taking you so long? The clock is ticking. Why aren't you living your best life now? Someone else did it at 25, someone else did it at 23, someone did it at 16. You are 40, you are 35, you're 32. What's taking you so long? Wake up. Why are you being so imperfect? Why are you being so slow? Why are you being so lazy? This is the narrative that's playing in your head all the time, whether you realize it or not. And if you have woken up from that, this video will make sense to you because you will already be in acceptance and compassion. If you have not reached that place yet, realize that that is what is needed, not shame and guilt. When you come into acceptance, you stop wasting energy on putting yourself down. Not only you're depleting your energy by putting yourself down, you're also using your energy to put yourself down. That's me versus me. When you take this critic out of the picture and replace it with acceptance and just say, okay, I have been imperfect and it's going to take me time to grow. It's going to take me time to heal, to awaken myself, and I give myself that time. I take the time for myself. I make the time for myself. I give myself permission to be imperfect for as long as I need. Forever, really, because we are humans. We are not going to perfection. It's just an ideal. It's a powerful ideal that inspires and drives us. But don't be in the idea that you're actually getting there. It doesn't even matter if you get there. When you're actually out of this criticism and shame and guilt, and you're just living and growing and enjoying life and doing your thing, you don't even care about perfection. You replace the ideal of perfection with joy, with real joy, not an ideal of joy, but you actually replace it with joy. Because when you stop criticizing yourself and you just go on the journey of growth and you go on the journey of living your life and doing what you really want, what's going to end up happening? You're just enjoying your life and you don't care about perfection. You don't care about proving yourself or living up to someone else's standards and ideals. All of that is people pleasing, whether you realize it or not. You are not achieving for anyone else. It's not even about achievement. You can replace that with joy, and with joy, you will actually end up achieving a lot more because you're just doing what you love. You're in the flow. You're not trying to meet some level, reach some goal that has been set by who knows who. Realize what you're feeding in yourself. That's all you need to do. Stop feeding the wrong energies within yourself and outside. Stop wasting your time criticizing others who are not being perfect. Realize that they are doing what they can of what they know. This is this is their programming. This is all they know how to do, and even from what they know how to do, they're doing what they can. Even if we have awareness and we have knowledge, we can't do all of it if we don't have a capacity, if we don't have the energy. So realize this, have compassion for people that they are doing what they can of what they know. They may not even know a lot, they may not even have the awareness. And it's okay. Criticizing them, shaming them, canceling them, blaming them, punishing them is not changing them. It's only driving them deeper into their hole. Now, if you come with shame and guilt, which is coming from love and which is being received with love, it's a very powerful force. Then it's completely different. Then it awakens. Because then you realize, I don't want to be this. I want to grow out of this, but I do that from acceptance. I realize that this is who I am. These are my imperfections. And now I'm going to do something about it. I now choose to do something about it out of love for myself and to the best of my ability. Again, I will do it as best as I can when I can. If I forget, if I slip up, if I regress, it's okay. I will not waste my energy in criticizing my slip ups. I will not waste my energy in criticizing my mistakes. I will say, it happened. It's okay. I'm getting up and I'm moving on. That's what will really make you fly and enjoy life. You will be thriving and you'll be enjoying life, and you'll be sharing that energy with others, which will inspire them. We can change the world with inspiration, being examples of what we want to see in others. I have seen this again and again in myself and with others. People who criticize me, I shut down. I can't be inspired by them. And then I start feeling bad and I just go deeper into my hole. But I've had very powerful examples of people who shine, people who inspire me to shine more. And I just then I'm in the energy of I want to experience that joy. I want to experience that love. And so I wake up from my own pain, my own misery, and I do something about it. Because I see that wow, life can be so much richer. It can be so much more fun. So why, when I see that, wouldn't I want that? And I will go out of the victim mindset of, oh, that can't be for me, because now I see a very normal person like me, like you, like the people I have had inspiring me are very normal people. They are not some idols. I have lived with them. I am friends with them. They are very, very normal people. And today I can say I'm a normal person. In many ways, I'm a very normal person. I'm just a human who has done the work to come to this place. It's not been easy, but it was worth it. I can definitely say that. And I truly, truly believe it's possible for anyone who has intention, anyone who has deep intention to transform, has the power to do it with the right tools, with the right support, with the right mindset. Of course, it's not magic, it's not automatic, it's not quick. I'm not promising that it will work for everyone, because you have to bring a lot to the table. I have mentored many people, and my success rate is not great, but it's not me who is responsible for the success rate only. My success rate is based on what people do with their own lives. I don't again feel like I'm a bad mentor or I'm not doing good enough. I do. I do excellent. I know my level. I've got that feedback from enough people to know that my level is fine. At the same time, it doesn't replace the responsibility of the other. It's a co creation. So, what is the energy you want to feed in your life? Do you want to feed shame, and guilt, even if it's towards others. You're feeding it in them. I will take an example. It's a very powerful example and it's a very polemic example. People, you may not, it may take some time to understand this. And the example is narcissists. Today, there's a lot of anger and hate speech towards narcissists. Experts on the internet, even high level psychologists, are furthering the narrative that narcissists are evil, that narcissists are something that basically should be ostracized from society. There's a lot of cancellation happening with narcissists. Now, I'm not saying go hug a narcissist, go be in love with them, but understand that they are in deep pain. They are wounding. I have studied psychology, psychotherapy, both theoretically from these experts, experientially from my inner world, because everyone has narcissistic traits, and I've had narcissists in my life, or so-called diagnosed or undiagnosed people who would fit the description of a narcissist, because that's all it is. It's a description that puts some qualities and says this is a narcissist. But again, coming back to the point that the core wounding of a narcissist is abandonment and rejection. If you realize that what they are really seeking is a self-fulfilling prophecy of being abandoned and rejected, and this keeps repeating in their life, and you are just playing into their game because they will seduce you in, they will then abuse you and cause you to abandon them and reject them and criticize them and hate them and feed all their unworthiness and shame that's deeply rooted. If you realize that you are just playing into their game by doing that, and instead you switch the game to be an acceptance and compassion, not lowering your guard and allowing them to abuse you and manipulate you, but to love them so powerfully that you show them that I am not the one rejecting you and abandoning you. Doesn't mean I may stay with you, doesn't mean I will be in close proximity with you. I'm going to have my standards. There's another video on boundaries and standards. I'm not using the word boundaries very intentionally. I have my standards of how I will be treated. I have my standards of how people will love me, and I'm going to uphold those standards. And when you do that from a place of power, one of two things is going to happen. The narcissist wakes up, they learn to respect you, they see what they are doing. It will not be an easy journey at all, but it will happen if they have intention to wake up, because they are capable. This is another narrative that's fed, that it's something that cannot be healed, something that cannot be changed. I have seen it changing when it's done in the right way. When you keep feeding love and you do not feed their narrative of shame, they will either take the opportunity and wake up from their pain, or they will be the ones who reject you. They will cut you out of their life because they cannot tolerate it, because it doesn't conform with their beliefs. And then you can at least know that you have done what was in your power. You have fed the right energies, and it may not even kick in now, but that experience will live in them and it will sprout. That seed will sprout if it is meant to sprout, when it is meant to sprout. But you will know that you have fed the right energies and you did not feed into their hatred, their pain, their shame. And in turn, also feeding that within yourself, because guess what's happening when all of this hate speech is going on with narcissists on the internet? It's feeding your own victimhood, it's feeding your own inner victim, inner oppressor, because we have that. And then you cancel yourself because anything that's associated with the narcissist, now you cannot be that. You cannot be someone who maybe is proud, is talking about themselves in a healthy way, even because anything even close to a narcissist is not acceptable. So you go to the other extreme. You go into, I have to be very humble, I have to be very small, I cannot look anything like a narcissist. This is what happens when we are not in acceptance, is we lose the center, we lose the healthy thing. We go into the opposite extreme, which is also not healthy. This is what happens when you come into acceptance and love, is you find a very healthy center where you know what is okay, what is healthy, what is good for you, what feeds your soul, what feeds your mind, your body, your heart, and you just keep feeding that. And realizing that talking about yourself in a positive way doesn't make you a narcissist. Talking about yourself doesn't make you a narcissist. It's healthy. It's healthy to appreciate yourself, to feel love for yourself, and to be able to communicate that to others. Break out of the mindsets that we have to just be in service of others and deny ourselves. Love yourself enough to even receive attention, to be able to receive praise. That is what amplifies power, and it doesn't have to feed your ego. When you are healthy within, what will be fed is your soul. Attention, praise, any kind of positive energy coming towards you will only feed your ego when you have wounds. That's what happens to narcissists. When you have come into a healthy place within you, what will be fed is your soul, and you will grow into a more powerful, loving person and spread that energy to the world. So, this is my invitation to you to feed your soul. Come into a healthy soul. And if you want my support, I also invite you to check out my website, check out the opportunities. I have an online community, an academy where I work with people, I teach, and it's a more intimate space where I work closely with people, giving them feedback, helping them to practically apply all of this, because all of this is high level theory. When it comes to your specific life, there are so many nuances, so many situations where you may not even realize that there is no acceptance, where you're shaming yourself, where you're feeling less than. Working in this setting that I create helps you to see yourself from the perspectives of others, because it's a group setting. Other people coming into their own realizations will make you realize, oh, I have the same. And that also creates more acceptance. I've been doing group work for 10 years now, and it's truly magical when the whole group realizes that we are all human, that we all have very similar, if not the same, limitations, imperfections, critics, and also the potential to have love for ourselves and others. That's the other thing that you get to see, is that if they can do it, if they can love themselves coming from deep wounds, coming from places of deep pain, coming from a lot of self criticism, if that person can do it, I can do it. These are the experiences that I facilitate, and I invite you into them. Please share this, and if you have any comments, I would love to read them. Until next time, thank you for watching.